is the first base answer for the Yankees. And we know year in, year out, the Yankees are going to be performers. Luke Voit is young. I like that. I think I would. I think I'd take Luke Voit in a keeper league over Chris Davis. Thank you for the question. And again, I think you got to look at the context of your team. What are your needs? What kind of categories do you have in your league? But, Voigt's probably going to hit for a better average than Davis. He's probably going to have a better on-base percentage than Davis. Davis is probably going to have a few more home runs when healthy. But overall, I like Voit better, and so does Donkey Okie. So there's 2 votes that say, go the way of Luke Voit. Thanks for the question. Keep sending them in. We'll talk about them. I'll stop what I'm doing. We'll address your questions as you send them in. I want to thank you guys for being in the chat room this morning. Bigelow on the Prowl and Bradley J. and guest Jeff and Lou Landers and Andrea and Donkey Okie and Charlie and Jack and John and Lenny and Patrick and guest Wilma. I still haven't seen Dino and Fred, but I'm guessing maybe they're around. Let's take a look at some of the prospects and how they did last night, and some of the prospects who may get a call sooner than later. I first think we need to talk about Jesus Luzardo. We talked about Dylan Cease earlier. Dylan Cease pitched 5 innings, struck out 6. He was a little wild, walked 5, but he did get the win. Probably a lot of nerves. Sure, he pitched his first major league game. Jesus Luzardo expected to be up around the All-Star break. He's got a grade 2 strain to his lat muscle. They're thinking that's going to detain him another 2 to 3 weeks before he's called up. So now probably the 1st of August with Luzardo. I don't drop him if I own him. I hold on to him. Let's see what happens with that situation. He had his MRI yesterday. Results came back. I read them this morning. So don't drop him. Keep him stashed, but let's keep our eye on it. It just could be one of those jinxed years for Luzardo. It was a shoulder strain in March. It's a lat now. Not a torn lat muscle. He felt a little twinge. He stopped immediately. That was smart. You got to know he's going to get the best attention he can get. So there you go. But last night, prospect-wise, Blue Jays prospect Bo Bichette. He had a doubleheader. He's the number 1 prospect remaining for Toronto, the number 8 prospect in Major League Baseball. In Game 1 of that doubleheader, he went 2 for 4. In Game 2, he went 1 for 4 for AAA Buffalo. He's now batting .395 over his past 11 games after this 3 for 8 showing on Wednesday, as Buffalo and Lehigh Valley split a doubleheader. He's 21 years old. His season average is up to .302, playing in 33 games for the Buffalo Bisons. During that stretch, he has 13 extra base hits, 3 home runs, 20 RBIs, and 11 steals. I think they're going to trade Freddie Galvis, who went 3 for 3 last night. I told you he'd been hot this week. When they trade Galvis, they call up Bichette. And the Blue Jays are not going to be winners this year. They're playing for the future. Bichette is major league ready. He can run, he can hit with power. I think he's a better prospect than Cavan Biggio. I really do. And it'll be interesting to see not if, but when he's called up. The Rays, I talked about this guy last week, Vidal Brujan, second baseman. He's their number 6 prospect. He's at AA Montgomery. He went 4 for 5 last night. Okay? And this is the second time this season he's had a 4-hit game. He's had 10 hits in the past 4 games. Just recently promoted from Class A Charlotte on June 27. And he has been a terror at the plate since moving up. Nick Madrigal for the White Sox. I talked about a few moments ago the White Sox being relevant in the wild card race as of today. He's their number 4 prospect. Last night went 3 for 4 with a double for AA Birmingham. He was the number 4 overall pick in the 2018 draft. Unstoppable. 382 since his call-up to AA in 23 games with the Barons. He's got an 11-game hit streak. 3 hits, as I said, on Wednesday. That's his 5th 3-hit game in his 23 games at AA. He's difficult to strike out. He's only struck out 8 times, 26 walks in 72 games this year at both high A and double A. White Sox, Madrigal, call up this year? Yes. Astros have a player named Seth Beer. I've seen Madrigal play at high A in the Carolina League. I've also seen Seth Beer play. He's out of Clemson University. He's the number 8 prospect in Major League Baseball. He went 4 for 5 last night, 2 runs, a home run. And Christian Javier, who I also saw pitch at Carolina League, went 5 innings last night for Corpus Christi AA, struck out 8. Speaking about Seth Beer, he went deep for a second straight night, season high 4 hits. It was his first 4-hit performance at AA. He was a 2018 first-round pick out of Clemson. At Clemson, he hit 56 home runs in 3 seasons. He's now hit 9 home runs in 41 games for the Hooks since his call-up from Class A Advanced Fayetteville. He's batting .312 with 67 RBIs in 67 games this year at both levels. Javier, who's a flamethrower, lowered his Texas League ERA to 2.15. It was his 5th scoreless performance in 9 outings. He's got a 1.69 ERA with 98 strikeouts and 74 2/3 innings. Yes. 58 Ks in 46 innings, allowing 19 hits since his promotion to Double A. This kid is the deal. And if you are looking for help in dynasty leagues, go get Christian Javier, pitching great prospect for the Astros. For the Braves last night in the minor leagues, Kyle Wright, their number 2 prospect, 25th in all of baseball, went 6 innings, gave up 5 hits, no runs, no walks, 8 strikeouts for AAA Gwinnett. The former number 5 overall draft pick in 2017 out of Vanderbilt turned in one of the best performances he's had this year, striking out 8 for a second straight start, scattering 5 hits over 6 frames. Over his past 4 appearances, he's 3-0 with a 1.42 ERA, 32 strikeouts, 25 1/3 innings. Dynasty leagues, he may be up this year for the Braves. Kyle Wright. Cardinals have a player, Randy Arozareno. He's an outfielder. He's their 14th ranked prospect. He's at AAA Memphis. He's 24 years old. He's hit safely in 8 straight games for the Redbirds. He went 3 for 5 last night with a double and 2 RBIs. He has a trio of 3-hit performances in those 8 straight games. In 21 games since his promotion to AAA, check this out, he's hitting .405 with a .595 slug. That's Randy Arozarena, an outfielder in the Cardinal system now at AAA. And then we wouldn't be a show of prospects if we didn't talk about a few more. How about the Padres' Luis Urias, the number 3 prospect for San Diego, number 20 in all of baseball. He went 2 for 4 last night, 2 runs, 2 doubles, an RBI for AAA El Paso. He has scored or driven in 3 of the Choluna's 8 runs in the win over Fresno. He's a run producer. He has a 1.018 OPS. I know he's in hitter-friendly Pacific Coast League, but he's a player. I'm just surprised he's not being called up. You know, it just, to me, I'm wondering what are the Padres waiting on. A few more prospects I want to talk about. Carter Kieboom. Can't you hear him sing that song? Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. Yeah, that's what he's singing. Dan Fogarty. Center field. All right, 1985. Let's get back to baseball. Carter Kieboom, who's saying, put me in, coach. The Nationals, I told you, they're players. What's he done lately? .425 over his last 10 games. 17 hits and 9 walks in those 10 games. Okay, if you're mathematically challenged, that means he's been on base at least 26 times over his last 10 games. Pretty good. No, extremely good. Carter Kieboom. The problem he's got, Dozier's starting to hit for Washington. There's nowhere to put him. And, earlier this year he got the call and he absolutely tanked. But he's ready. What else has he got to show at AAA? And all it might take is a slump for him to get the call up again. Carter Kieboom. Mitch Keller, rolling at AAA. Roll on, roll on, roll on. He threw 5 innings of 1-run ball in his last start, allowed just 2 runs in his last 2 starts, spanning 12 in the third innings. Waiting for the call. Nate Lowe for Tampa. Of course, he strikes out a lot, 13 in his last 10 games, but he's also been an on-base machine with AAA Durham with 49 walks in 66 games. He's got 28 extra base hits. He got a call up earlier this year and hit 261. Ji-Man Choi went on the IL yesterday. Will Nate Lowe get the call up again? I could see it. And here's a player that I just had this big man crush on, okay? His name's Jo Adell. Yeah, I love me some Jo Adell. And I think Jo Adell is coming up to the Angels by August 1st. Ha 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 ha. Let's see if I'm right. Jo Adell. I told you about Austin Riley coming up. Now I'm telling you, Jo Adell's coming up. Last 10 games, he's hitting .421. He's played 20 games at AA. He'd been injured early in the year, but in those 20 games, he's got a 1.093 OPS. He's hitting for power. He's played good defense in both center and right field. He could be a spark the Angels need. I told you they're in the wild card race. He could be a spark they need here in the second half. There's some prospects down on the farm. Take a look at them. I want to talk about some contact rate risers. Guys whose contact rates are on the rise. Write these names down. Let's take a look at their stats as we go forward over the next couple of weeks. Daniel Vogelbach, Jesse Winker, Willy Adames, Ahmad Rosario, Pete Alonso. Their contact rates over the last 7 games, Vogelbach's is up 17%. Winker's is up 14%. Adames is up 13%. Rosario is up 12%. Peter Alonso is up 11%. Some fallers. Contact rates are down in the last 7 games. Anthony Rendon's contact rate has gone down 20% over his last 7 games. J.D. Martinez has gone down 19%. Lorenzo Cain's in the last 7 games has gone down 17%. Franmil Reyes down 17%. And Josh Donaldson down 16%. I'm talking about guys who are putting the bat on the ball. Vogelbach for Seattle, with a .321 batting average over his last 7 games, is increasing his hard contact rate. He is also going to get opportunities to play. He can probably be traded for. So can Jesse Winker. Hitting not at a high average, but his contact rate up 14%. That means he's going to hit for a higher average if that will continue. And I love Willy Adames. I talked about him earlier in the week with that 13% increase in hard contact rate over the last 7 games. And they're playing the Yankees. What a great time it would be for Adames to have a breakout as we head into the second half. So let's talk about games today. This is our final segment. I'm running over, I know, but I guess I've got the 10 o'clock slot, so we'll just keep rolling with this. I've got a lot of material, and I want to say Lenny will be back tomorrow morning at 9, and I will be back with you next Tuesday. I thought about doing a show over the weekend just for fun. I don't know if you guys are interested in that or not, but if I can work it in, I got some things going on. My brother has a birthday tomorrow, so I got some family things going on there. But I thought about doing a show maybe Saturday. What do you think? Let me know. Give me some feedback on that. We'll talk about it. Let's talk about some games today and some players that you might want to pick up in daily fantasy for games today. Okay, and if I don't give you stats, then it's because I don't have credible information to give you. But the first game today, of course, I'll talk about the Yankees. At 5:10 this afternoon, At Tropicana Field, Jay Happ 7-4 against Robinson Chirino 7-4. ERA is a little different there. Jay Happ's at